Okay, this is red number 3. I got a number that's painted on the right side now. Okay, this has more to do about my campaign. That's like I said, a police officer driving a car would get like I think 560, 40, $500 an hour. Okay, now we have a state prison here in Canton that's behind in our water bill. If you're a prison guard and you're guarding a prisoner, most of them, some of them are good guys, and some of them are like Destiny, where they just got in trouble for they couldn't defend themselves. But if you're if you're kind of proven to be dangerous, a prison guard will get 60% of $1,000 an hour to guard you. That's like this money that comes from nowhere. We wouldn't pay it back to anybody. That's like in times of war, we send soldiers overseas to protect foreigners that don't pay us back. The foreign countries don't pay us back. So, the soldiers get paid. I really don't pay the soldiers. We're $1 trillion in debt. The Mayflower, when it came over to America, didn't have $1 trillion on it. I think it's a con game when our politicians say that we're $1 trillion in debt. Who did we borrow this money from? Nobody had $1 trillion to borrow it from. So if we didn't borrow it from anybody, why would we want to pay it back to anybody? Okay. Now the guards who get paid 60% of $1,000 an hour, and the prison is, even if it's a state prison, the federal government would still pay the prison guards. And the prison itself would get 40% or $400 an hour per guards to pay their bill. So they could pay their water bill or any other bill inquired. Or their parking lot or their lights or anything. Okay, now that's part of it. But okay, now if you got into trouble, you wouldn't want the prison system running on making a profit. If you got into trouble, okay, you could hire a lawyer, and the federal government may pay $600 for you to hire a lawyer, and a lawyer could pay $300 an hour for people to go out and investigate and find out what happened, as many people as he needed to do to turn up leads, to investigate what happened, to help you get out of trouble. But I mean, all this money, although this money came from nowhere, it keeps them tying up in this prison system so you wouldn't go to jail. The lawyer, you could hire your own, even if you're in jail, you can hire a lawyer at maybe $600 an hour or less to investigate your crime, and he could hire people to investigate what happened, as many need be, to investigate, to get you out of jail, so if you're innocent, so you're not in jail and taking up space. If you prove you're innocent, know you're innocent, and there's people that know you're innocent, and they don't have to spend money. The government, if elected, and you're not electing me, you're electing the idea, the government will pay for it. They spend a lot. They can spend $500 million on a plane to blow people up, or that may get shot down, knowing this plane will probably get shot down the minute it gets up in the air. They can hire a lawyer to keep you out of jail. And although I'm spending that much money on a guard, they can keep you out of jail. So we're not spending that much money on guards. Because if you're innocent, we don't want to have to send you to jail. And it may cost a lot of money to investigate the crime for investigators, but it may be cheaper to hire investigators rather than sending you to jail, as many as need be. I mean, you wouldn't want to hire too many, but enough to investigate the crime because a lawyer can't do it. I had this on here before, but I didn't say the lawyer could hire investigators. But they may be, depending on how well educated they are. $300 an hour, 60-40, where the lawyer to get 40% of what the investigator costs, and an investigator may get 60% of $300 an hour or more. That's the minimum, depending on how well educated he is, and maybe expensive. I don't know. I haven't really decided. I just came up with this, but and I got to think. But just to keep you out of trouble or from getting into trouble, or once you're into trouble, get you out of it. But there's such a thing as destiny. That's like, and I may be mistaken, but if I'm probably wrong. And I thought about it and said it, and then later on I thought about it and thought you're wrong. But if you were to go 6 billion light years out in space, and this is probably wrong, and look back, maybe not, could you possibly see our sun go nova? And I know I'm wrong. I know if you went 6 billion light years out in space, our sun wouldn't even be there. So, and I was thinking I was wrong. Maybe you could see our sun as went nova. When I was saying it, I was wrong. But I'll kind of stop there. But I thought maybe you could see stuff we hadn't done yet. You could see our sun already went nova. But I was wrong. But let me think. But there's some other stuff here I wanted to say, and I can't think of it right now. But anyway, the federal government, to keep you out of jail, I just talked about the prison guards getting paid, a good salary. But the lawyer will also get paid. They hire the prosecuting attorney. They'll also hire as many defense attorneys as possible. And the backlog of different things, that's like $400 an hour for a policeman sitting behind desks to undo the backlog of things, to get you out of cells, to undo, then there's things in boxes to investigate them. That's something else. There's caseloads. They can hire policemen, $400 an hour, to go through all the boxes of things, backlogs of things, to investigate them, the boxes and boxes and boxes. They can hire enough policemen to go through them boxes, the backlogs of things, to clean up back paperwork, and fingerprints and DNA samples, and get that taken care of. 8 minutes and 34 seconds. And maybe we can get some caseloads to cold cases taken care of. Thank you, David Formhals, presidential candidate. And this money will come from nowhere. That's like if you get into war, you spend as much money. If you don't spend enough money and you lose the war, the money's no good. And if you spend enough money and you win the war, then the money's good. But you may have a crime in you, or something may happen in the future where you need a lawyer, and you won't have enough money to buy a good enough lawyer. So just think about it. And you're not voting for me, you're voting for the idea. So just vote for the fact you may need a lawyer in the future. And what are you going to do if something happens? You may be looking at the pedestrian and run a red light and hurt somebody, need a lawyer to get you out of trouble. So just vote for me in case you need a lawyer. Bye.